Hey, what's going on, everybody? FullFrontage here. Today, bringing y'all a Clash Mini video, and in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Kairos's video. A lot of you had mentioned some points from Kairos's video in the last comments of my last video that you said you agreed with, so I wanted to check it out, and people were asking if I've watched it. I have not yet, so I'm going to watch it real time, react to it real time, react to Kairos's reaction of the update. So let's hop into it and see what he has to say about the latest Clash Mini update.
Hello fellow minis, it has been a few weeks since the most recent Clash Mini update, and I've been gathering my thoughts so I could share my 100% honest review of that most recent update, even if it's a little bit late. And of course I'm going to answer that question that's on a lot of people's minds. Is Clash Mini ready for global?
Not right now.
After that, I'll rate the update on a scale from 1 to 10 after sharing all of my thoughts. And we're going to start off with the #1 best feature added into this update, and it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of not. This might sound a little bit silly, but in my opinion, the best feature added to the game was the ready button.
It is.
Oh my gosh, thank you to the team for adding this. Like seriously, as soon as Clash Mini was first added into beta, I was immediately like, add a ready button. I need a ready button. I need to be able to start my match if both me and my
Wait, what happened to the quality?
Ready. Like please add a ready button. They did it. Thank you. It was much needed. Okay.
So then it's
okay. I know that seems like it's not that big.
I want to see Kairos's high def.
But first, I want to give a big thank you to Match Masters for sponsoring.
Check out Kairos's video. They didn't pay me, so sorry.
You guys who are not familiar with it because you're watching this video and the game isn't global in your country yet, heroes are now upgraded with crown shards and their skills are upgraded separately with skill shards. Honestly, I actually personally really like this change to the hero skills.
Agree.
And especially being able to upgrade individual skills individually. That's really, really nice. When it comes to game design, I do think it's a little bit too complex for most players, right? And I think that a simpler solution would just be better for the game overall. Although I feel that way from a game design perspective, me personally, as a player, my personal preference, I like the complexity of the hero skill progression system. I don't like the crown shard system, and I'll come back to that in a minute or so.
Agree.
One of my favorite things about the hero skill progression is that heroes unlock their biggest abilities, their biggest upgrades at earlier levels. This makes the game feel a lot more free to play friendly because you got more of a chance against enemy heroes who are upgraded higher than yours, right?
One of the biggest examples for me, just sticking out, I might pause at times, but one of the biggest examples sticking out is the Skeleton King. It gets its absorbability at level 9 instead of at level 13 or at max level on the isolation, which is super important. So that way mid-tier Skeleton King is actually really viable getting its best ability. So agree with that.
Also, each upgrade to the abilities don't actually make too much of a difference by themselves, and so I think that that's actually really good. I do think the hero abilities overall are too strong at max level. It's really kind of frustrating actually when you're playing on a max. I know this is going to sound so ridiculous, but as a max player with max minis and max heroes playing against max players with max minis and max heroes, I actually find the gameplay a little frustrating because I think that the heroes are too strong. When you have a max hero, the winner of the fight basically comes down to who can take out the enemy hero first. And if you can't take out the enemy hero first and both of your heroes are just left over, then it's pretty much just like a rock, paper, scissors kind of situation where oh, if I've got this hero, then I beat this hero and this hero. But if they have this hero, then they beat my hero. And it's just I don't know, there are things that you can do about it with your minis, so it's not 100% rock, paper, scissors, but I kind of don't like that. I think that heroes should feel stronger than the average mini, but I don't like the fact that most of the time the winner of each match is based off of who has the higher upgraded hero. Don't get me wrong, skill is still very important. It really is in the outcome of the match, and I know that a lot of people think that when they first start playing Clash Mini that skill isn't that important, but it really does play a big role in things. Also,
Okay, I'll pause it here. I don't know if he's done with the hero thought. I agree and I disagree. I agree with the fact of that heroes are too strong in the sense that yeah, if one hero is I've had situations where it's a mirror matchup and my opponent literally won because they were just one level higher than me. That shouldn't happen often. If it does, the example that I remember specifically was I had more health. It was Skeleton King versus Skeleton King. I had more health, at least visibly on my bar, because I think the Skeleton King gets an energy upgrade to level 15. So my Skeleton King was 14, my opponent was 15. I had more health and I still ended up losing just simply due to the fact of one level difference. That shouldn't happen, I think. So I do agree in the sense that like heroes are too strong and the skill discrepancy between them is a bit harsh in terms of leveling up. I think I think the stat boost should coincide with um the the level boost of abilities. So like the maxed hero ability should be 15 and the max hero should be 15. So that way when it's maxed, it's maxed. That's it. There's no more stat increases, there's no more anything like that, because if you add in, let's say Clash Mini decides to add in 5 more hero levels, is the attack speed of a Barbarian King going to be like 1.5 seconds instead of 1 point? Like, these are things that need to be thought of, and you can't just balance the game. You can't just add levels and then make level 15 level 20. You have to balance it prior to that. So I do agree in that sense. I do disagree in the sense that heroes should be more powerful than minis. They're heroes. There's only one. You have 5 minis, not 5 heroes. So I do disagree in the sense that heroes are meant to be strong, but I do agree in the sense that they're too strong in comparison to each other. But when it's in comparison to a mini, a hero should be able to beat a mini. A mini should be able to beat a hero. And right now, the only ones that do that are Bowler and Royal Ghost.
I do have max heroes, and I do lose to players that do have less than max heroes. But honestly, like if I'm being completely like fair, I don't think it happens enough. There are times when I do get outskilled and I win.
That part depends on minis. Again, if they have a level 3 bowler, you lose.
Or to some extent, but not as much as it is, in my opinion, right now. Personally, I would like the total strength of all heroes to be cut down significantly. I don't know if this is too much.
No,
but
I agree.
Like, let me know what you guys think. But I think that I would enjoy the game a lot more if heroes were only about half as strong as they are right now. Like, I'm good with a little bit of pay to win in the game, but let's make it a little bit more fair, in my opinion. So then now let's talk about what I don't like about hero progression, even though it sounds like I just was talking about stuff I didn't like. I do like hero progression, the skills, but I don't like crown shards. Crown shards are the currency that you need in order for you to upgrade your heroes, and crown shards are further split into 3 different rarities, okay? There's common crown shards, which are required to upgrade your heroes to level 5. There are rare crown shards, which are used to upgrade your heroes to level 10, and then epic crown shards are required to upgrade past 11 and up through 15. And like, if I am being 100% honest, I honestly think that splitting the currencies, it just feels unnecessary. I don't want to say that it feels dumb, because like from a game design standpoint, I understand why the team decided to do it the way that they did.
It does make sense.
Make it so that like you have a reason to you know, upgrade some of your heroes at a somewhat consistent level and rate, and I really understand why they did that. I really do. But from a player's perspective, I don't like it. It's too
100% agree with this point. Yes, I did a video kind of explaining the biggest issues in terms of like when like at different points in the game. I've been playing through my free-to-play account. I know I said I was going to release a video and I haven't yet, but the rate at which you get rare tokens is also pretty scarce, and like common crown shards are fine, I think. Rare crown shards, once you're in that mid-range level, are a little bit tricky, and then epic crown shards are probably going to even be more tricky from a free-to-play perspective. If I thought it was tricky buying it from, like, buying the mini pass, buying shop offers, and everything like that, then I can only imagine what it would be like as a free-to-play player.
too complex. It's just annoying. New players will unlock crown shards that they won't even be able to use for several months, and then you have endgame players who will have tons of common and rare shards with like nothing to spend them on until a new hero is released. And once that new hero is released, yeah, it's like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll be able to immediately upgrade them. But like, I don't know, players in the middle also are probably going to be experiencing, they're probably just not going to have enough shards to upgrade any of their heroes. Like, I
just
know.
said that, yep.
I also like really just don't like it when games add more currency to a game than is absolutely necessary. I really don't. I would much rather if the Clash Mini team would consolidate all three of the rarities of crown shards into just one crown shard resource and then make upgrade levels progressively more expensive to upgrade, right? Like, I still, like, 2 currencies to upgrade heroes and their skills is already plenty of resources. And I just don't think that the benefits of further splitting them into different rarities outweighs the benefits of simplifying things. I really don't.
And I do want to correct myself on this because I know I had released an honest review with Vlad, and a lot of people maybe thought it wasn't honest. But honestly, at the time, like seeing everything, seeing the rework, seeing the hero progression change, it's like, wow, this is actually great for the game. And then once you play it for a bit, you kind of get into this sense of like, yeah, these three resources actually don't make sense. But like Cairo said, when you think about it, the progression system is great. The only issue is the fact that they have so many different resources right now.
So those are my thoughts on hero progression. What about mini progression? We got a brand new mini progression system. I think the change is fine. I do. It wasn't enough. It wasn't as much as I hoped they would change things, right? And to be clear, what I'm talking about is I really like the fact that you can now choose which minis you upgrade. I think that is fantastic. But the thing that I don't like is that they didn't change the way that they do the star exchange. The star exchange, I'm not a fan of. Clash Mini is the first game that I've played where you have a chance every now and then to sacrifice progression on some of your collection to upgrade another part of your collection. Like, that's what happens with the star exchange. I wanted to experience this a couple of times before I really formed a strong opinion. Now that I have experienced it a few times, I am confident that I am not a fan of it. I honestly think it feels really weird to just have to give up minis in order to upgrade my heroes. In fact, I think that it downright is annoying and frustrating as a player. It really is. Once the reset happens, yeah, you've got all that new progression that goes towards your heroes, and that's cool and that's great. And like, heroes are the place where you want to put that progression because they're the bottleneck. Minis are not the bottleneck currently, but at the same time, you sacrifice your progression or your collection, and it doesn't feel very good. And once the reset happens, you then have to take the time to re-upgrade your favorite minis. And like, if you have all of the minis maxed out by the end of the progression, it's just annoying to have to go and upgrade them. It really is annoying. It is. And it's just frustrating to realize that, like, yes, I had a completely maxed out mini collection and now I don't. And so like, I wanted to go use this mini, but I can't because it's not upgraded. And I spent all the limited resources on the exchange on the wrong minis or something like that. Like, especially because when the exchange happens, we usually have balance changes and we don't know which minis are going to be the better ones and the worst ones. And like, it's just all messy. And I know that players don't have to do the star exchange, like, and you don't, right? But doing so is the best way for you to get crown shards to upgrade your heroes. And heroes are so strong in this game that it's a no-brainer to do the star exchange. You should do it every single time from a like long-term perspective, even though it's not fun and I don't like it. Like, it's really, it needs to be redone. I just really think that it does. From a player who genuinely loves Clash Mini, and like, really, like, when I first heard about the Star Exchange, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I really gave it a try, Supercell. I really did. I wanted to like it. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to experience the joy that could come from it, and I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I really don't. And I'm saying this, like I said, as somebody who cares passionately about Clash Mini. I want Clash Mini to do really, really well. I really do. And I don't have actual stats on this, but I would be willing to bet that player retention drops significantly within 1 to 2 weeks after a star exchange. I really could be wrong about that, because the thing is that like, when the star exchange happens is usually when a new, fun, exciting update happens, when we get a lot of new content. And so people will naturally want to play the new content. But I think that the star exchange system is causing more harm to player retention than it helps. I really think so. I feel pretty strongly about that, actually. So I don't know. Now, to be clear.
Okay, I think his point about player retention is more so to do with the current state of the game rather than the star exchange. I agree and disagree in the sense that the star exchange is like, it's needed to upgrade your heroes, but I think the alternative methods to put something like that into place takes away from casual players being able to upgrade their heroes so frequently. If you put into a place where you focus more on like a reward system rather than a reset, the casual players will then need to play more in that reward system, where a casual player right now can play passively for the first few seasons and then do the star exchange, get their heroes leveled up higher, then they can play in that late game stage. So I think it's a tricky situation, but I want to say I do disagree with the fact that the star exchange needs to be changed unless it's something that is more free-to-play friendly, or still as free-to-play friendly as a star exchange. but I think the Star Exchange is mainly catered toward helping free-to-play players in getting their heroes leveled up without having to play the game an insane amount, because it doesn't take super long to max out your mini collection. Um, and I think that's why the Star Exchange was implemented in the first place. So that's the part where I disagree with. But if Supercell was to implement something that does incentivize free to play players more, and still makes it an easy progression for them with the whatever the Star Exchange becomes in terms of being able to collect more hero shards, then I'm game for that. But in the meantime, I do disagree with the Star Exchange is bad for the game. It would just need to be something better to replace it. And right now, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything like that. But the Star Exchange is mainly catered toward free-to-play progression, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Blair, I do like the star shards for upgrading minis. I really like that players can now choose which minis they can upgrade, and I think it is a great change to the game. It definitely is an improvement over the old system where you could not choose which minis to upgrade and you were kind of left to like random chance. This is so much better.
100% agree.
I really think it is, but I think that it would be a mistake for Clash Mini to go global before figuring out a different progression method for their minis than the Star Exchange. Personally, I think they should make mini progression way slower than it currently is. Like, really is. I know that some of the players listening to this right now might think, oh, I don't know what I think about that. But then if they made the progression feel or make it permanent, so that every single time you actually unlock a new mini and every single time you upgrade that new mini is much more impactful, then that would be, honestly, I think you would care more about your collection, right? Like, oh, I've built up this nice little collection and I don't have to sacrifice it. I can just, like, every single upgrade, you're gonna be like, oh, sweet, I got this new upgrade. Like, that's really cool and that's really fun and exciting, right? Now, they would have to do some other changes in order to make up for it. For example, they'd have to add additional hero progression that we're currently getting from the Star Exchange. So, like, I think they could do so by just significantly buffing the hero progression in the free side of the mini pass. And also, in order to make sure that all players always have enough upgraded minis for a full deck, I think that they should just add more minis as free trials every week. Give more players like, hey, this is your free deck for the week. You can play it, and like, yeah, all the free-to-play players are going to be playing it and intermixing just one or two of the minis. But then, as they get their own like set of minis to be able to create their own deck, then all of a sudden that feels really fun and exciting, and like, I don't know. That sounds way cooler to me, in my opinion. I've said this in the past. I am not a game developer, and although I do enjoy listening to game talks. Like, I listen to GDC talks on game development, like, actually pretty frequently. But I'm not a game developer. I recognize that. But the strength in my feedback doesn't lie in like game design, right? Sometimes the most well-designed games are not fun, like actually. But the strength in my feedback lies in the fact that I've played a ton of games, and I am hyper-focused on player perception and how players will react to different changes in the game. And the reason why I'm hyper focused on that is because I'm a content creator. Like, literally every single piece of content that I see in a game, I'm thinking, how will people react to this? Is there something I can do to make a video about this? And is this good for content creation? And guess what? The games that are good for content creation have the biggest audiences and perform the best. Like, that's just the truth of it, right? That being said, my opinions are always my own, and I don't want to pretend like I always know what everybody is saying or what everybody thinks or what the best idea is. Oftentimes, I feel like I'm pretty good at finding out what the issue is, but Supercell's usually better at coming up with a good solution for it. So either way, you guys should let me know in the comment section below if you agree, if you disagree. And I think that it is important to acknowledge the fact that I think that progression is better in this update than it was before the update. I still need to...
Yeah, absolutely. Progression is better. The star shards, in terms of a permanent progression and making it slower to unlock, and like the idea of a free deck, I'm sure that was kind of off the top of the head, but the idea of a free weekly deck kind of makes it seem like Supercell is kind of forcing people to play certain minis. And with I'm pretty sure this is talked about in the video, but with the issue of pricing of skins and how skins are unlocked, I think it would seem very greedy on Supercell's part, even though that's likely 100% not their intention, is if there's a free deck with minis that all have skins out, I'm sure at that point you can connect the dots and see where I'm getting at. Supercell just wants you to buy the skins in the shop, so they're giving you free trials for max mini. I can see it going so many wrong ways that I think 2 minis per week is fine right now, and I think the progression for 4 minis is okay. I don't really see the issue with having the option to exchange your minis in the collection for hero rewards or not exchange them. Again, if the star exchange is mainly for hero progression, it's really not that difficult to max out your minis, especially the amount of star shards you collect after each season. Like I can almost guarantee by the end of the season, I'm not maxed out on my free to play account, but I could guarantee if you do everything daily, your clan, your check-ins, your checking the shop, your exchanging gold for star exchange because gold is useless type thing. I could almost guarantee that you would have 200 plus star shards as a free to play player by the end of a reset before the star exchange happens. And when you star exchange, you get more star shards that you could probably max out your account or very close to max out your account within the first day of the star exchange. So I don't really think it's too much of an issue. You just get more star shards progressively, even when your minis are maxed out, that by the time season reset comes around, you can max out your collection again. So I really don't see it being at a certain point, your collection is essentially already maxed out indefinitely because of how often you played a game, and it rewards people for playing the game daily. And if you play for a couple weeks, take a break, and come back, yeah, your minis aren't going to be maxed out if you do the star exchange, because you opted not to play for 2.5 months, which I think is perfectly fair and valid, especially in an auto battle or game like this. TFT, you could put so much time and effort into crafting the perfect strategy, and then the next set comes along, and 4 of the champions that were in your TFT set are no longer there because they switch sets. I know you don't max out your characters and champions in TFT, but it's the same sense of like you perfected a craft and now those champions are gone. I think that's just the nature of the auto battler, and I think if you play enough, you'll be able to max out your minis at the next star exchange. So I don't really think it's too much of an issue.
The team needs to nail down some of the other changes before I think the game is ready for global, but
This
that
I
is
agree
the
with.
beauty of the game being in the beta, and I want them to be able to have the time in order to do that. Now, aside from progression, arguably the biggest addition to Clash Mini in this most recent update was gizmos. I can't believe I haven't even talked about gizmos yet. How long are we into this video? I love gizmos. Gizmos are awesome. They add a ton of strategy to the game, and I think they are a really great addition. I don't think that they are perfect, though. I really don't like the fact that you can't switch them out between rounds, like swap a gizmo with one of the other 2 options or something like that. And I personally feel as though they are a little bit too strong, with the exception of just like a couple of them. The fact that you can't switch them out, though, means that you can't adapt your strategy sometimes, and I really don't like it, especially when it comes to rumbles, right? Rumbles are all about changing your strategy depending on who your opponent is that specific
Huge
round.
blonde rumble.
If I face somebody in the very final round that had the elixir pump at the very beginning versus like some the rocket or something like that, like I want to be able to adapt my strategy every single time. Even then, though, in duels, if you pick the wrong gizmo the first round and you keep losing, there should be some way for you to be able to swap out that gizmo for something different so that you could hopefully switch your strategy and make a comeback. Like, that's the whole point of this, of the Clash Mini, is being able to adapt your strategy as you go. That's one of my favorite aspects of the game, and currently you can't do that with gizmos. And I think the gizmos, overall they are doing way more good for the game than they are doing bad. I'm really happy with them. I really like that the team added them. And also, I'm not a big fan of them being randomized at each match. I would much prefer to be able to pre-select 1 to 3 gizmos to choose before the match starts, even if they were much weaker, and being able to like create a gizmo deck or whatever, or like pairing it with different heroes or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I don't fully agree with that idea. It's just something that I'm sure that the team has actually thought about doing something like that. But I don't know. You guys kind of get where I'm coming from. Also, I have one very strong opinion about gizmos, and that is currently different players will have a different selection of gizmos to choose from in rumbles, and that needs to be fixed. That absolutely needs to be fixed. In a rumble,
100%.
all 8 players should have the same 3 to choose from, I think. I really do. Or everybody should have the equal chance to choose them before the match or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I think the team can make some adjustments to gizmos, and so far I'm really happy that they're in the game. I'm also...
I think before he continues about gizmos, he might be talking more about it, but I 100% agree with what he said about being able to switch gizmos out, because there are situations where you play gizmo and it doesn't end up working. You should be able to switch it out. You should be like, Clash Mini is a like auto battlers are a game about adaptation, and if you can't adapt in one of the major now aspects of the game, that is a big fundamental flaw in the system. So I 100% agree with the fact that gizmos should be able to be switched out, or you should be able to choose your gizmos. If you choose your, so here's my thought on it. If it's random, it stays 3, but you're able to switch gizmos out. If you're able to choose what gizmos you bring into matches, you should only be able to pick 2 and have to switch between them. And also being able to move gizmos. And that if that means nerfing them a little bit, then fine, so be it. I think the major point is just the ability boosts that you get from the gizmos. That's like the major aspect to it. And it would also come in more strategy of like, oh, gizmos have 20 health. You could just throw it anywhere on the map, and it doesn't really matter where it is. In certain gizmos, that's true. In certain gizmos, that's not true. But I think if they were a little bit more balanced in terms of their actual stats and not necessarily the ability boosts, then gizmos would be a lot more of a strategic point in the game, and it would make sense to have people select their own gizmos to bring into battle.
Really happy that emotes are in the game. Emotes might not seem like a big change, but for
Emotes
me,
are fun.
they've actually made a big impact on how the game feels. They're like a constant reminder that my opponent is human, and honestly, it's made the game feel a lot more alive and immersive for me. And that might sound silly, but like, I guess I didn't realize what I was missing without emotes, right? Now, I will say that I found that some of the emotes pop up and cover up part of the screens that I don't want them to. Like, I don't think an emote should ever cover up the board. I want to always see the board. I don't know. I don't know where they should move it to, but I feel like they need to move some of the emotes
down low,
right? I also
below the username.
Personally feel as though they should all be animated in some way. I'm sure that is coming. That's something that they can do for a polish later on, either right before.
I'm fine with static and dynamic emotes.
Like that. I think that'll just make them feel a lot more lively, since like the static images that we see, they don't really share the emotion as strongly as I would like them to. But overall, I really like emotes. However, I will say I think that they're too overpriced. They're expensive. Oh, okay. I know that I'm coming from a very free-to-play friendly game in Brawl Stars. It's very free-to-play friendly, but also you got to recognize I am a big spender on most games that I play, because first of all, as a content creator, I'm able to, everything that I buy in game is actually technically like discounted because it is a tax write-off. But also as a content creator, I think that it's very important that I have different cosmetics and things like that as someone that creates content in the game. And even though I think that the new emotes and skins are cool, I really do think that they are dramatically overpriced. I really do. I am not an expert in game monetization. I'm really not. But most of the skins in Brawl Stars either cost $3.50 to $7, and that's assuming you buy gems $100 at a time, right? That's like the cheapest way for you to do it. Clash Mini has their skins closer to like $10, and like a single emote for $3. I mean, you guys know I love Supercell games. I am all about monetizing them. After all, I make money from creator code, which like directly comes from monetization in Supercell games, right? But like, they're too expensive in my opinion. I really think that they are. And you know what? I don't know how well Clash Mini is monetized. I don't know if they are making enough money to make the game. I really don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know that, but I do think they are overpriced, and I've got to urge players, the people that are watching this video, to vote with your wallets and not buy the cosmetics if you think that they are overpriced. Like, you can play the game just fine and not have the cosmetics, so don't do so, right? If you think they're too expensive. But I say that, I should also add a very big disclaimer. You should fully know that I am going to buy them all, even if they are overpriced. If I don't, I can't create videos like skin tier lists or videos where I rank all the different skins in the game or something like that. Like, from a business perspective, I kind of have to buy them no matter how expensive they are. So yeah, like I said, they are a tax write-off for me, which means that they are essentially already discounted every single time I purchase them. So I know it's really hypocritical for me to say this, but yeah, I think Clash Mini needs to reconsider how their prices are for all their cosmetics.
I definitely agree with this. I didn't realize I saw the prices, but I didn't know if they were USD prices. $15 for a single hero skin and $10 for a single mini skin. And even if you buy it with gems, you still have to buy the $10 pack to get like skins that are purchasable with gems. So like, yes, you could theoretically earn them as free to play as you get gems, but I mean, $10 for a mini skin and $15 for a hero skin, like you said, $3 for an emote is a lot. It's a lot of money, and like he said, as content creators, we kind of have to quote unquote buy the skins so that we can create content for you guys, so you guys can see what it's like and decide if you want to buy it for yourselves. That's what we're here for as community representatives. We're here to provide the best game experience for you guys to be able to view and decide if that's something that you would like to purchase or not. And creator codes aren't even in Clash Mini right now, so there's no benefit for me like, yes, go buy the skin. And honestly, even if they were, I wouldn't expect people to spend $15 on a hero skin. It's pretty overpriced. Like he said, he comes from a free to play game, Brawl Stars, and honestly, even if it's not a free to play game, cosmetics are cosmetics. They don't help you with progression. So like, you can't be mad at people for buying the skins if they really want to. Like, if somebody's really over the moon about the Jolly Santa Barbarian King skin and they want to spend $15 for it, power to them, go for it. Like, if you love that skin, you want the jingle bells sound going off when you move your Barbarian King around the board, go for it, spend it. Like, there should be no hate for people who want to spend it. But I do think the skins are overpriced. I think a hero skin should probably be $8. I think a mini skin should probably be about $3 to $4, and then emotes should be $1 each. I think that's more than fair. I feel like that's widely monetarily correct. Like, a skin in Fortnite, a legendary skin in Fortnite costs $20. An epic skin costs $10. Other rarities can cost anywhere between like $5 to $7. So, and it's probably like that in League of Legends too. Actually, it is like that in League of Legends as well. So, hero skins probably $8 to $10. Mini skins $3 to $4, emotes 99 cents to $1, whatever it is in the currency. That's 100% what it should be. They're way too expensive.
Thing I am not really a fan of are fun boxes. And I say fun boxes because I don't really think they're very fun. For those of you guys that aren't aware of what I'm talking about, fun boxes are essentially, they're loot boxes for cosmetics in the game, right? You can either buy them with gems at like $4 a box, or
that's
with
expensive
crystal coins, and they will randomly give you a chance to unlock a cosmetic in the game. Now, I gotta give props to Supercell for allowing players to actually buy them with crystal coins, but the people that have crystal coins are usually the people that are already spending a lot of money on the game anyway. Most free-to-play players don't have a significant amount of crystal coins. Either way, the rarest cosmetic is the Queentron skin at 2% drop rate, and up until this point, everything I've said, I actually don't have major issues with fun boxes. Are they overpriced? Yes, but like, still,
yes.
To this point, I think it's perfectly fine. I think that it's great to have a little bit of randomness in the game sometimes. I do think that being able to choose what you buy makes more sense, but a little randomization is fine in my opinion. What I am not okay with is what happens if you get a cosmetic that you already own, or the fact that it is possible for you to unlock a cosmetic that you already own. If that happens, you get 100 crystal coins back. But hang on a second, it costs 300 crystal coins to buy a fun box in the first place. So every single time you get a duplicate, you lose 200 crystal coins every single time. That's straight up gambling. It's no good. It's not good. It's not a good game mechanic. I think that Supercell made a really great, courageous move in Brawl Stars to try and move away from gambling. And I think that the rest of the game, like, there's a lot of good legislation that's being passed throughout the world that is trying to remove the gambling from boxes or from games. And I think that Clash Mini really should consider following suit.
I'm just going to stop right there. Don't buy the fun boxes. Like, if you want to spend your crystal, like, if you have a surplus of crystal coins, you have all the crystal skins, go for it. Like, that's perfect. That's what I did. I have not spent a single dollar on fun boxes because they are legit a waste of money. Do not spend $4 on a single fun box. If anything, like, I 100% agree with Kairos. They should just get rid of them. I don't think they're, like, essentially the fact that you can get a duplicate, it is gambling. That is the definition of gambling. You're spending money to get something, and if you don't get it, you get a lesser currency in exchange, pretty much. Just don't do it. Don't buy fun boxes. And if you're doing it with crystal coins, it's fine. It's free cause it's a free thing that you get in the game. But other than that, don't spend $4 on a fun box. And yes, they should get rid of them.
It's no good, even if you're doing so with free-to-play resources like crystal coins. Gambling is just, it's not good. It really is not good. It's not good. Like, there's so many studies, there's so many reasons why gambling is not good, even if it's with free-to-play resources like crystal coins, in my opinion. Like Brawl Stars, honestly, like the Brawl Stars monetization was very free-to-play friendly, even though it did have like a gacha system in there. But the thing is even if you didn't get the brawler that you wanted, you at least got some useful resources that were needed to upgrade your brawlers. Fun boxes are straight up gambling because eventually you'll just waste money.
It's just cosmetics
coins for a chance to get a skin or emote that you want, and if you don't get the one you want, it is a straight up loss. So yeah, fun boxes are not fun at all. If Supercell removed the chance to unlock duplicates from fun boxes, I would totally
that would be better. That would be better.
But even then, it still costs over $3 for every fun box, even at the cheapest price, and that's I think that's too much.
If fun boxes were removed, the option that you get from fun boxes, there are skins in fun boxes, there are hero skins in fun boxes, and there are emotes in fun boxes. A fun box should cost probably $2 equivalent to gem currency. They should not cost money. If they cost money, just get rid of them. They should be able to be purchasable with free-to-play currencies, which is gems, gold, and I would even throw fun boxes in there for gold, honestly, because you can buy gold from the shop, so let people purchase fun boxes for gold. If they keep it, remove duplicates, reduce the price, 200 crystal coins, whatever the equivalent of $2 in gems are, and then probably 10,000 gold. I think 10,000 gold is, 5 to 10,000 gold. I don't know what the full economy in the game, 5 to 10,000 gold.
Like I said, I'm all about games being able to monetize their game, but there are ethical ways to do so, and there are also ways to do so at reasonable prices. I'm definitely a bigger spender than most players because of my profession, and I do enjoy spending money on games that monetize both ethically and at reasonable prices. But Clash Mini just isn't quite there yet. That's not to say that they can't change their minds on some things and improve things. Like, they've already shown how absolutely creative they can be when it comes to all other areas of game design. Like, Clash Mini is a fun, very creative game. It takes a spin on auto battlers in a way that I've never seen before, that is like actually makes sense and makes auto battling fun and enjoyable. And I have full confidence that they can find a better way to when it comes to monetization. Okay, I've got a few more thoughts, and then I'll rank this update. Let's talk about the polish added into the game. They like completely redid a bunch of the artwork. They've restyled a bunch of stuff, and honestly, I love most of the aesthetic changes a lot. I will say not everything. There's just one thing I don't like. I don't love the text. The font. I mean, it's classic. It's a Supercell font, right? It looks good. It looks great, but like,
I said the same thing.
It's not a Supercell game. I mean, it is, but it's a Clash game, right? And like, it's fine. It's actually fine most places. It just feels a little boring. It really does. I don't know. Like, yeah. I'm sure that
was my first thing too.
I hate like saying this when I know that there's somebody that could be watching this video that made the decision to switch the fonts, and I even understand them wanting to get away from the Clash IP so much, so that it's not like specifically like Clash Mini, like it can be its own game, but at the same time it's a Clash game, right? And like, especially when it comes to player names, the player names, I feel like they need to be flashier somewhere. They need some more flair, maybe like an outline stroke, or like something that makes usernames pop a little bit more. I don't know. I think most people watching this would probably agree with me. I could be wrong. It doesn't have that same magical feel that like Clash Mini did when it was first released, in my opinion. But I am a big fan of the whole aesthetic change of all of the minis being actual minis that you like unbox from like a toy store. Like, I think that's really cool. Like the toy box opening, like that's actually really cool. I like that polish. The minis do feel a little bit more like a collection, and I like that. And you know, they can make some more changes before the game's ready for global. It's just not quite there.
Yeah, the game's not ready yet.
But it is getting closer, and that is awesome. So how would I rate this update, and then we'll talk about global. If 1 is the worst update where every decision I completely disagreed with, and 10 being the perfect update where every decision I 100% agreed with.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 7.5.
It's either like completely neutral or I have equal bad and good. Then I think I gotta give this update a 7, okay? And that might sound,
fair.
I don't know if that sounds harsh or good or bad or whatever. I don't know. Like, clearly a lot of people really like this update, and I agree with it. But But I've brought up a lot of points in this video that you guys are clearly aware that I don't like. And I also think that the Clash Mini team did a really great job with a lot of stuff. It's clear that the Clash Mini team is working super hard to produce a game that is worthy of global at Supercell, and I think that this update really shows what they can do. It doesn't mean I agree with everything, and I don't think they need to make an update that I agree 100% on everything. I think it's completely fine and reasonable for them to have different opinions than I have, but I've brought up a lot of those issues that I think are valid, and I think that if Clash Mini were to address them, it would make the game better. So, is Clash Mini ready for global?
No.
It's really tough to say. I do think that worse games have launched globally. Like, Supercell has really high standards, and we know that they hold their games to a higher standard, and like the last game to go global was Brawl Stars, and that was 4 years ago. Like, since then, Supercell has released a bunch of different beta games, and they've killed them all. They've killed all of them since Brawl Stars went global. And I really don't want that to happen to Clash Mini. So I hope that the Clash Mini developer team knows that as I'm sharing this feedback and stuff like that, it comes out of a place of love and respect and just wanting the game to be as good as it possibly can be. If Clash Mini could iron out some of these issues that I mentioned in this video before going global, I think it would be a much better game. I think if they figured out a better progression system for minis rather than the star exchange, the game would be better. I think if they simplified hero progression to be just 2 currencies, the game would be better. I think if they monetize the game in ways that are a little bit more fair and more reasonable, the game would be better.
Yep.
And also, I've talked about this in previous videos, but I would also hope for 1 to 2 additional game modes to be added to the game before the game went global, or for the team to have a new game mode like ready to go soon after global. So to answer your question, do I think the game's ready for global yet? No, I actually don't. But I think it's dang close. I really do. Honestly, if they could just nail down those things I mentioned, I think the game could be ready for a global launch in the next big update. So maybe it will be ready 3 to 4 months from now. I definitely hope so. The game was released in Australia recently, and from the numbers that I've seen, it seems to be doing pretty well in Australia. Hopefully that actually means that they'll get some more feedback and have a better idea of, you know, are we ready for global? And then if so, what kind of polish do we need to do? What kind of changes they need to do before the game gets released globally? But I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comment section below. And once again, I wanted to give a huge thank you to Match Masters for sponsoring this video. Check it out using the link below, and check out my other content right here on the screen right now. For now, this is Kairos time ticking by, and we will see you in Clash Mini.
All right. So, yeah, I definitely agree with most of what he said in the video. There were a lot of points that he did make that were really good, in the sense that, like, yes, Clash Mini is not ready for global yet. There's so many changes that need to be made with the hero progression mainly. I agree with the gizmos, with the monetary values for the game to go global. He said that the numbers that he saw in Australia were really good. And I personally think that they're releasing the game in more countries to get a better feel for player retention rate, and figure out where players are dropping off. That's my opinion on why they're releasing in more countries. I don't think releasing in more countries is necessarily a path that, like, oh, the game is 100% getting ready for global, like they're launching in more. No, I think it's solely just on the purpose of them trying to figure out where the player retention lies, and releasing it in a much bigger region like Australia, New Zealand, gives them a better idea of that player retention and where players are dropping off and things like that. So I think that's why they're doing it. I don't think it's necessarily a step in the right direction per se, like it is, but it's not in the step. It's not in the step that the game is closer to going global. It's a step in the right direction in terms of they're figuring out if the game is ready for global. So player retention, there definitely needs to be more game modes, and I'll have another video coming out in the future because this one's already very long. Coming out in the future talking about what are things that should be added, not changed in the game, but what should be added to the game to push Clash Mini closer to global. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And again, big thank you to Kairos for letting me watch his video on video and reacting to his reaction of the update. But that's going to do it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you check out those videos over there because YouTube thinks you'll like them, and they're pretty good videos as well. So hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos, and also leave a like if you like this one, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you later. Peace out.